very dependent on the fact that what were the facilities that were already available in this hospital. So the other hospital which has been non-functional, we were basically looking at facilities like the operation theatre, the dental section, the X-ray and the lab facilities. So we have been able to create these facilities. Other than that, we have also been able to create OPDs, which was the hour of the need. So we have been able to create the surgical OPD, the ortho OPD, the dental OPD, as well as family OPD. So we've been able to provide assistance to almost around 5,000, more than 5,000 patients.
The team's priority was to bring immediate, life-saving care to those cut off by the floods, as per Lieutenant Colonel Gill.
When the new age technology that we had deployed this time was that we had surveillance drones which were very, very important to find the layout of the hospital and really helped us to establish it much faster. The other was the HVAC tents which were deployed to create OT in a minimum time. And also, since the layout of the hospital required us that the labs and the facilities for blood collection were far apart, so we could actually use the logistic drones to carry out lab samples and blood samples to the labs, and we could actually enhance our speed and we could get results much faster.
Within 24 hours, the team upgraded a previously non-functional healthcare centre. The Indian Army installed an operational theatre, digital X-ray and a fully stocked laboratory in the health centre. In addition, they opened OPDs for surgery, dentistry and family health, ensuring a comprehensive package of care. This came as major boost and upgrade to the existing medical infrastructure in Sri Lanka. Cyclone Ditwa made landfall on the eastern coast on 28 November, dumping more than 500 mm of rain in 48 hours. The resulting floods submerged 1.1 million hectares, which is roughly 20% of the island's landmass. 2.3 million people were directly exposed to waterborne hazards. The destruction was immense. 7,20,000 buildings were inundated, including 243 health facilities and hundreds of schools. In addition to the medical push, India dispatched 4 more naval vessels to deliver essential relief supplies. Food, water, medicines and shelter kits were provided. The vessels have also provided logistical support for the evacuation of vulnerable civilians.
So in Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen all kinds of discussion in the last few days, and today's discussion we heard a scandal that was mentioned by one of the parliamentarians. Anurag Thakur, BJP MP, claimed that some TMC MPs are smoking e-cigarettes. That's the latest scandal in Parliament. US trade delegation in India begins its talks. We're getting you the details of the trade talks in a few minutes.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला
सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला
भाई मेरा बेटी को प्यार चाहिए मेरा बेटी का ब्लड आ रहा ब्लड नीचे से ब्लड आ रहा प्यार चाहिए दे दो क्यों नहीं कर सकता क्यों नहीं कर सकता क्यों नहीं कर सकता मेरे को प्यार चाहिए अभी
छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
Endgame for the Luthra brothers. They will be dragged back to India. They've been detained in Phuket. Passport suspended, duo detained. Luthra brothers' deportation process has been initiated from Thailand. The owners of the Goa nightclub, where 25 people were killed, on their way back. Delhi court will resume the hearing on the Luthra's anticipatory bail plea. In fact, at 5 p.m, we're expecting the verdict.
देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है। क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर, टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर। टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
E-cigarette scandal breaks out inside Parliament. BJP MP Anurag Thakur accuses Trinamool Congress parliamentarians of smoking e-cigarettes in the Parliament premises. US delegation arrives at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Trade talks are underway. We're getting in some details now that India has, in a swift operation on the 10th of December, which is yesterday, the Coast Guard has apprehended a Pakistani fishing boat with 11-member crew inside the Indian economic zone. Now this underscores sustained maritime operations and India's commitment to securing its maritime frontiers while maintaining robust enforcement of international maritime laws. Continuous vigilance across India's maritime domain remains a cornerstone of our maritime security strategy, is what the Defence PRO has handed out. I'm going across to Ishan, joining us with the details. Ishan, they were held in Indian waters. How far in were they? If you can share some more details with us.
The Indian Coast Guard, in a swift maritime operation, apprehended 11 Pakistani crew members on a boat. This boat was deep inside Indian territorial waters, that is the exclusive economic zone. After this, the Coast Guard has handed over the alleged fishermen over to the police authorities for a detailed investigation. The apprehension has been done under the UN clause jurisdiction of UN clause jurisdiction of international territorial waters. They had been illegally entered into the Indian waters, and after that they were doing activities which upon apprehension, the Indian Coast Guard detecting that they were within the territorial waters in a swift multi-domain operational wherein multiple Coast Guard vessels zeroed in on their location and arrested these intruders, and after arresting them they have been handed over to the Goa police for further legal procedure and investigations.
Okay. Thank you for joining us with those details. Quick news input that came in from Ishan there. Let's go on and get you some other stories now from across the country. In the national capital, as the winter session of Parliament continues to witness some fierce exchanges between the Treasury and opposition benches. The BJP this morning accused a Trinamool parliamentarian of smoking e-cigarettes inside Lok Sabha. BJP MP Anurag Thakur raising the issue without naming the Trinamool leader, urging the Speaker Om Birla to take note.
एक सर मैं व्यवस्था को लेकर आपसे सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं। देश भर में
एक मिनट, माननीय सदस्य मुझसे सवाल नहीं पूछ सकते।
नहीं सर, आपसे आग्रह करने वाला,
आग्रह कर सकते हो,
आपसे आग्रह कर
सर भी ढंग से
बिल्कुल सर, हाथ जोड़ के आपसे पूछ सर सदन की जानकारी के लिए है सर। देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है, क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
कोई भी माननीय
टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर चेक नहीं सर, आप चेक करवाइए सर।
एक मिनट व्यवस्था
सर, सदन में अगर सिगरेट पीना अलाउ कर दिया है।
एक मिनट प्लीज, मैं सभी माननीय सदस्यों से पुनः आग्रह करता हूं, हमें संसदीय परंपराओं और संसदीय नियमों का अनुपालन करना चाहिए। कोई भी माननीय सदस्य कभी भी ऐसा कोई विषय मेरे पास आएगा तो निश्चित रूप से इस पर मैं निश्चित रूप से कार्रवाई करेंगे।
पार्लियामेंट जिसको हम लोकतंत्र का मंदिर मानते हैं, वहां पर ई सिगरेट लाना ये तो कानून के खिलाफ है। आप कानून के रक्षक है तो कानून के भक्षक पार्लियामेंट में कैसे बन सकते हैं? उसको कंज्यूम करना तो पार्लियामेंट के रूल्स के खिलाफ है कि आप पार्लियामेंट की इस प्रकार से तौहीन नहीं कर सकते। पब्लिकली स्मोक करना ये तो कानून है देश का, नहीं कर सकते। पार्लियामेंट में तो कतई नहीं कर सकते, हाउस के अंदर तो कतई नहीं कर सकते। पर इन तीनों चीजों का उल्लंघन टीएमसी के एक सांसद करते हैं, और इसी के बारे में बड़े दुख के साथ, बड़े दर्द के साथ अनुराग ठाकुर जी ने स्पीकर को अवगत कराया, जिस पर संज्ञान लेते हुए स्पीकर ने भी कहा कि यह पूर्ण तरीके से गलत है, इसके ऊपर पूर्ण जांच होगी, इन्वेस्टिगेट होगा। तो आज सवाल टीएमसी से बनता है कि जब प्रथम दृष्टया इतनी बड़ी घटना हुई है तो क्या वो इस प्रकार की नेगेटिव कीर्ति स्थापित करने वाले अपने सांसद पर समय रहते ही स्वतः कार्रवाई करेंगे या स्पीकर के कार्रवाई का इंतजार करेंगे? क्योंकि आप तो कहते हैं आप तो संविधान के बड़े रक्षक हैं, आंबेडकर जी के बड़े प्रशंसक हैं। तो आंबेडकर जी द्वारा संविधान के तहत लोकतंत्र का जो मंदिर है उसकी मर्यादा की बार बार अवहेलना करने का जो इतना बड़ा अपराध कर रहे हैं, ऐसे अपराधियों पर क्या कार्रवाई टीएमसी करेगी?
The Trinamool Congress prima facie not denying the allegations while saying that those in charge of monitoring discipline of MPs in the House will look into the matter.
हम क्यों कहेंगे? ये देखना जिसका काम है वो देखेंगे।
लेकिन आपकी पार्टी के सांसदों पर आरोप लग रहा है।
हम फिर बोल रहे हैं, देखिए तृणमूल, वो आपको पता होगा 2021 पे अब की बार 200 पार बोल के मोदी बाबू हार गए, तो वो गुस्सा अभी तक नहीं गए। क्या किया जाएगा? पैसा बंद, खाना बंद, नौकरी बंद, सब कुछ बंद। और उसके साथ साथ मंत्री लोगों ने सदन में आके असत्य भाषण भी बोलने लगा। बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट है, बोलने दीजिए। फिर हम बोलते हैं कि कोई भी इनडिसिप्लिन होगा तो उसका संभालने के लिए संसद का एक तरीका है, डिसिप्लिन है। अनुराग ठाकुर कोई गुरु ठाकुर नहीं है, वो बोलेंगे हम मान जाएंगे।
A key meeting is underway right now at the residence of Home Minister Amit Shah. Getting the details, JP Nadda, the current BJP chief, and BL Santosh are present in that meeting. We're trying to get more details. Possibly one of the items that could be discussed is on who will be the next BJP president. That's a possibility. And the fact that Amit Shah and JP Nadda are there along with BL Santosh at the organization level. At the organization level, the BJP has delayed this decision. It's possible that the BJP could be taking that decision. The idea was to announce a new BJP president after the Bihar elections, and there is a possibility that that announcement could be made anytime soon. Okay, we'll try and go across to Aishwarya joining us on the phone line. And there has been several meetings, in fact, that have taken place. Aishwarya is on the phone line. Aishwarya, several meetings have taken place, and this decision is well overdue for a very, very long time. What's the latest? Aishwarya? Okay, while we go across to Aishwarya, let's also tell you a few more details that have come forward. There were several meetings, in fact, between BJP top leaders. Amit Shah met the Prime Minister. This was a few days back, about 1 week back, that triggered the buzz on the new BJP chief once again. I think we are getting in some more breaking news right now. Let's first get you some more news before we go back to the details of that meeting that is on. Getting in some details on the Indigo front. We're getting in some details of the meeting that took place with the Indigo CEO, Peter Elbers. We're picking up more details of the meeting, the 2-hour meeting that took place between the DGCA Inquiry Committee and the Indigo CEO. And during the high-level meet convened to address the Indigo crisis, the Inquiry Committee posed several direct pointed questions to the airline CEO regarding operations, refunds, crew management, compensation. And during the meeting, the airline provided information on its new roster plan, refund progress, baggage tracing, flight resumption. Indigo has also provided the committee with information regarding compensation. Now, these are some details of what took place in that meeting between Indigo CEO and the DGCA Inquiry Committee. Chandrakala is on the phone line. Chandrakala, pretty ordinary stuff, nothing extraordinary, asking questions about operations, refunds, crew management, compensation, and almost on cue, we've also had an Indigo statement today saying that extra refund will be given 10,000 credit, etc., etc.
Yes, in fact, a very crucial to our long meeting took place between the DGCA Inquiry Committee and the Indigo CEO here at the DGCA office. Of course, the fact that what we are learning is this high-level meeting was convened to address the Indigo crisis. Of course, the Inquiry Committee has posed many questions related to the crisis and also asked for detailed information as far as the operational, the disruptions or the flight cancellations or flight restoration for that matter is concerned. And of course, it was a direct question being posed to the CEO, the Indigo CEO, regarding operations, refunds, crew management and compensation. Well, of course, the meeting took place for 2 hours and, the airline provided few information on its new roster plan and refund progress, baggage tracing and flight resumption. Well, it also provided the committee with with information regarding compensation. Well, given the fact that we have seen the Indigo CEO mentioning and apologizing for this entire crisis, yet the crisis still remains intact because more and more flights still remain cancelled today morning. We have seen in Bengaluru, in Ahmedabad also yesterday many Indigo flights remains cancelled, and also the fact that many staff, many passengers has complained about as far as the staff are concerned, there has been no such swift actions being taken. So yes, a very crucial meeting has taken place, although we know that the Civil Aviation Ministry has warned Indigo of strict actions, and they have sought a response as far as detailed data and an update on this entire crisis as far as flight restoration is concerned. Although the Indigo CEO has mentioned that 1800 plus flights has resumed, but the fact remains, this entire aviation crisis, when it will be sorted out, because it's been more than a week that, of course, this crisis happened, and now
Okay, we'll leave it at that. We'll just wait and see if there are more details that come in on the story. As of now, nothing much. Of course, it's DGCA. You can't expect much for the DGCA to do in this particular case. They've gone soft on Indigo all along. They suddenly can't go really hard on Indigo, can they? Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, security forces in Jammu and Kashmir have intensified operations along the international border in Samba and surrounding sectors amid dropping temperatures, heightened concerns of cross-border infiltration. Joint teams of the Jammu and Kashmir's Police Special Operations Group, the SOG, the Army Border Security Force conducting combing drives through forest areas, riverine belts and streams. My colleague Gursimran sent us this report from the border.
Security forces have launched one of its mega operations as part of its winter strategy, and right now we are reporting from the woods of the Samba, where massive search operation is presently underway. As you see, the troops of the Special Operations Group of the Samba, they are carrying out this intensified searches in the deserts and the upper areas that has some riverine structures as well, and this is very close to the Indo-Pakistan international border where these intensified searches are taking place. What they are doing, they are carrying out the searches to ensure that the security forces, they are able to scan everything, because this entire area, the 360-degree view that you see, that this is a dense forest that is in the Samba district, and here it becomes really a major challenge for the security forces, that how they will storm through these forests so that...
Getting in some breaking news right now. Rioter Umar Khalid, along with Sharjeel Imam, they've been fighting for bail for the last few weeks and months. The Delhi court has granted an interim bail to Umar Khalid from 16th December to 29 December. That's about 14 days. 14-day period. It's a 14-day interim bail. I repeat, 14-day interim bail for Umar Khalid. It is for his sister's wedding. He can attend his sister's wedding, and then he will have to go back. He will have to surrender himself again. So it's a quick news alert. We'll go across to Rhythm. We'll just add that 14-day interim bail for Umar Khalid, being tried in the Delhi riots 2020 case. 2020 Delhi riots, one of the instigators, the chief instigators, one of the rioters, along with Sharjeel Imam, who organized the entire riots in which 53 people died. Rhythm is joining me live. Rhythm, 14-day interim bail. It's just a 14-day window. Rhythm?
All right. Even as the Delhi Supreme Court has reserved judgment, Niranjan, on the Umar Khalid bail plea, the Delhi court has granted an interim bail to Umar Khalid, and this is because he has to attend his sister's wedding from 16th to 29th. Remember, this is only for 15 days to attend his sister's wedding. But we are waiting for that main bail, the regular bail that has been asked for in the Supreme Court, and that's a very crucial hearing, like we've been saying. Within the next 7 days, the top court of the country is going to come out with an order in the bails that have been asked for by Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam and others. The regime change operation is the main case that the Delhi police and the government has against them. We have to see what happens in that. This is a 15-day bail that has been granted to attend his sister's wedding, and this is on particular grounds in which bail has to be granted on the basis of which this has been granted now. So Umar Khalid had asked for his sister's wedding. That's on 27 December. The Delhi police had told earlier, remember the Supreme Court and others, that this case may finish soon, and that's when now this bail has been granted by the court.
15 days. Okay, 15-day interim bail. Rhythm, it's important to tell people, remind people about who Umar Khalid is, who Sharjeel Imam is, and how these two people organized the riots, resulting in the deaths, murders, not deaths, murders of 53 people in Delhi.
Don't think you're absolutely right. People also need to understand when the Washington Times and the New York Times talk with sympathy about these people, they are terrorists under the UAPA Act. They wanted a regime change operation not only in Delhi but pan-India. This is what the Delhi police said. I do believe after the evidence that we have seen over the past few years, this case should have been handed over to the NIA. This time the Delhi police had made no stones unturned in the top court of the country to say they had international support. They also, the speeches of Sharjeel Imam, Niranjan, that you and I have seen, the 8 minutes that have been shown to the Supreme Court, it's very clear. They looked at anything they could to use it as a catalyzing effect to ensure that people of the minority community could be galvanized only for their dangerous agenda to break India. They were not successful. The same modus operandi was followed in Dhaka and in Nepal. They were successful there. So very, very dangerous terrorists who have been in prison for the past 5 years. He's been granted bail, but we have to see what happens within the next 7 days in the top court of the country and whether they're granted bail there. I do believe that this is a bench that has heard each side, and after having seen the evidence, these terrorists will continue to be in jail.
Yes. Rhythm, if I can just keep you on that story, because it's critical to get, because nobody knows this case better than you. If you can tell our viewers a little bit about, how these two, especially Sharjeel Imam and Umar Khalid, not just the faces, but how their legal teams, they have the high-profile legal teams, high-profile lawyers, and they've been trying really hard to get out of jail at any cost. They've been fighting for bail. So a little bit about the arguments they've been trying to make in court.
Well, absolutely. The main arguments that have been made is that this is an act that you can't attribute to them because they have not openly said anything that can be seen to be violent. That is what the lawyers for Sharjeel Imam, Umar Khalid and others have said in the court. We've seen several people speak up in the court for these people. The top lawyers of the country have been representing them. But what is very clear also to understand is that the Delhi police opposes the bail, and they've filed this big affidavit in the top court of the country where they say there was a deep-rooted, premeditated, orchestrated conspiracy. It was at a time coinciding with the visit of the U.S. President Donald Trump to India. They spoke about the CAA, but beyond doubt, they said the conspiracy was only to have a regime change operation in India. It was only chosen. The CAA was a radicalizing catalyst, they had said. The conspiracy led to the death, like you said, of 53 people, and there were 753 FIRs registered. It was a pan-India conspiracy. The affidavits have been filed in response to the Supreme Court listening to the bail pleas for the longest time of Sharjeel Imam, Umar Khalid, Gulfisha Fatima, Miran Haider, Shifa ur-Rahman. They challenged the Delhi High Court's order that denied them bail. And the police has maintained, SV Raju, the ASG has maintained the conspiracy was hatched, nurtured, executed by these people. They were striking at the very heart of India.
Okay.
They wanted a regime change.
Thank you, Rhythm. Thank you for joining us with those details. We'll leave it at that. It's a 14 to 15-day reprieve, 15 days. That's it for his sister's wedding. So he will be out for exactly 15 days and he'll have to go back in. He'll have to go back in and surrender. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last 5 days, today is the 5th day, started on Sunday, today is Thursday. For 5 days, we've been reporting endlessly on the Goa nightclub fire and the corruption that caused the fire. It's endgame for the Luthra brothers. This morning, their free run ended after they were detained in Thailand following an international alert. A series of steps were taken, including moving the Interpol, and the owners of the Goa Birch by Romeo Lane nightclub are now staring at a swift deportation, which could happen, by the way, within the next 24 hours. And the arrest, a possible arrest, the moment they land in India. Their matter in court, they've moved for anticipatory bail and it's being heard has been heard and will be delivered in about roughly 8 minutes. 5 p.m. is when the verdict is expected. And what happens next is something we're all watching out for closely. Here's how they were caught this morning, how their run ended in Phuket, Thailand.
A massive breakthrough in the Goa club blaze case. Hours after their 72-hour run abroad ended, the Luthra brothers, Gaurav and Saurabh, were detained in Phuket by Thai authorities. The detention came after Indian agencies triggered a blue corner notice and activated the India-Thailand extradition framework that has been operational since 2015. The duo is currently in immigration custody in Thailand, where documentation and identity verification are underway, the first step before deportation. So, what is next? Once Thai immigration completes paperwork, they will issue what is effectively a deportation order. Unlike a full extradition trial, deportation is usually faster and based on immigration violations or overstaying alerts. Indian officials from Goa Police and CBI's Interpol wing are already coordinating with the Indian Embassy in Bangkok to secure an early travel warrant. If all clearances move without delay, officials say the brothers could be put on a flight to India within the next 48 to 72 hours. The moment they land, they will be arrested. Goa police have already prepared transit remand paperwork and a detailed case file, including fire department findings and digital evidence of ticket bookings minutes after the blaze. Diplomatic channels expect no resistance from Thailand, given the seriousness of the case and the prior Interpol alert. Once in India, the Luthra brothers will face custodial interrogation, reconstruction of the crime scene, and confrontation with technical evidence already gathered. Investigators allege the brothers fled within 90 minutes of the fire, booking tickets to Phuket at 1:17 a.m. while rescue operations were still underway. Luthra's brothers' defense say they did not flee but traveled to Thailand for business purposes, an argument they also placed before a Delhi court while seeking transit anticipatory bail. Meanwhile, back in Goa, the probe is widening. Police have arrested 6 people so far, including partner Ajay Gupta, who has been brought back for questioning. A lookout circular is also out for British national Surinder Kumar Khosla, the property owner of the club, who is still untraceable. For now, all eyes are on Thailand, where the final deportation order comes through and when the escorted flight back to India is confirmed. A process that began with a blue corner notice is now in its last leg, the handover. And once Luthra brothers return, the investigation enters its most crucial phase yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a big story that's developing in Tamil Nadu. It has been for the last few weeks on the Deepam controversy in Tiruparankundram Hill in Madurai. The RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has spoken on this issue, saying Hindu awakening. He's spoken about Hindu awakening and how that only that is enough to resolve most issues.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा,
मसाला। भाई मेरा बेटी को प्यार चाहिए, प्यार। मेरा बेटी का ब्लड आ रहा, ब्लड नीचे से ब्लड आ रहा, प्यार चाहिए, दे दो। क्यों नहीं कर सकता? क्यों नहीं कर सकता?
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च। प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us this Thursday. You're watching Live and Breaking at 5 p.m. with me, Ayana Mitra. Viewers, at least 100 opposition MPs have moved an impeachment motion against Justice Swaminathan, who's a judge of the Madras High Court, over a judgment that he passed in favor of Hindus. What is this controversy all about, and why is it that the opposition is so rattled with a judgment that essentially favors the rights and sentiments of Hindus? We'll get you the details of all that and a lot more, but first the headlines this hour. Delhi court grants interim bail to Umar Khalid in Delhi riots larger conspiracy case. Luthra brothers, owners of Goa club, seen handcuffed after detention in Thailand's Phuket.
Reckoning of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result.
RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat speaks on Madurai. Deepam Rao says can be resolved by Hindu strength.
देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है, क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
Amid winter session of Parliament, e-cigarette scandal breaks out inside the Lok Sabha. BJP MP Anurag Thakur accuses TMC MP of smoking e-cigarettes in the lower house. A US delegation arrived at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry earlier today for the India-US trade talks. All right, viewers, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat issued a statement just a short while back, and he has expressed confidence that the temple issue, the Madurai temple issue in Tamil Nadu, can be resolved by Hindus, citing the strength of Hindus collectively in the state. He has said that the escalation is not necessary at this point, but if needed, Hindu organizations in the state of Tamil Nadu will inform them. The RSS chief has emphasized that the issue will be resolved favorably for Hindus and they will do whatever it takes. Issue revolves around a Madras High Court order allowing the devotees to light a lamp at a stone pillar near a dargah, which the Tamil Nadu government has appealed for in the Supreme Court. And this is essentially in regards to the judgment that was earlier passed by Justice Swaminathan, who's a Madras High Court judge. Let's first listen in to that statement that came in earlier from the RSS chief.
If it needs escalation, it will be done. But I don't think it needs so. The matter is now sub judice. Let it resolve. The awakening of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result. But if at all it is needed, the Hindu organizations are working in Tamil Nadu also. They will let us know, then we will think about it. But at present, I think the issue can be resolved here only on basis of the Hindus' strength in Tamil Nadu only. If it needs escalation, it will be done. But I don't think it needs so. The matter is now sub judice. Let it resolve. The awakening of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result. But if at all it is needed, the Hindu organizations are working in Tamil Nadu also. They will let us know, then we will think about it. But at present, I think the issue can be resolved here only on basis of the Hindus' strength in Tamil Nadu only.
Okay, let's go across to Sharda, who joins us live from Madurai in Tamil Nadu. She's been tracking the story very, very closely. Sharda, clearly the judgment that has been passed by the Madras High Court judge has rattled a certain section of the opposition. They've moved an impeachment motion in the Lok Sabha. Give us the latest details that you're picking up in this entire controversy. That's number one. And also take us through the response that has come in from the BJP and the NDA and how they essentially plan to take on the opposition.
Well, the latest in relation to the Tripurakundaram row comes where the case that was adjourned at the Madurai bench of High Court will be heard tomorrow, where the district collectorate and the commissioner of the Madurai city should respond to judge's question on the contempt of why the lamp was not lit on December 3 and December 4 as per the orders that was passed on December 1. And now following the adjournment is when the Hindu people will be protesting outside the Tripurakundaram temple. Day after tomorrow, the judge has given them a permission of 50 people to hold a silent protest and also made sure that the people protesting should not target one particular regional party or political party and blame them for what has happened. And also the recent updates that coming from Tripurakundaram, where we are standing right now, is the hill is now shut down for the people to go up and pray at the Kasi Vishwanath temple. As you can see, the hill behind me, it's completely shut. It's also said that the people are not allowed to enter, though section 144 has been implemented and removed. The police continue to make sure that nobody is sent up the hill. And also about the BJP and the RSS and the AIADMK, the opposition responding to DMK, says that the DMK continues to call themselves a secular party, but when it comes to Sanatan Dharma or Hindu religion or anything that's related to the culture, and is not able to make sure that what has happened with the Tripurakundaram hill, as you can see, the hill is now completely devoid of people, where nobody is going. As you can see, the hilltop temple, and behind that is the dargah. And the DMK and the BJP continue to tell that the communal harmony among the people is good, but it is now turning into a political war more than a legal war in the state of Tamil Nadu. DMK continues to state that to not hurt the sentiments of the people who go to dargah, whereas the BJP continues to say that there is a law that's already passed in 1994 where 15 meters away from the dargah, people are allowed to light the lamp. And now the DMK's HRNC, the temple administration that comes under the Minister Shekhar Babu, who is a close aide of M.K. Stalin, continues to say that the order passed in 2014 by the Supreme Court should be followed, whereas they are not ready to follow what Judge G.R. Swaminathan said. As we know, Judge G.R. Swaminathan also got a latest threat from on Facebook, on social media, multiple people threatening him, telling that if he allows them to light the lamp on Tripurakundaram hill, there will be a communal riot in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah. Sharda, I want you to stay on with me, and as you keep giving us the details about what we can expect next, I want you to move around and show us that exact spot. You can show us the visuals of that temple, because we understand this is the same spot where the BJP had earlier held protest, during the course of which many of the opposition leaders in the state of Tamil Nadu had been detained. I want you to take us through details of what had happened earlier while showing us the visuals of that temple, which is now at the center of this controversy.
Well, on December 1, after the orders was passed, December 3, this is the place where multiple people came thronging and also protested to let them enter. As you can see, the steps of the temple are right side, behind the small temple. There's a way in it, but police have entirely blocked that area where we cannot go. And to the left is the way to Dargah, where you can also see the forest line. And if you dig deeper into it, you can also see the policemen standing there with barricades, not allowing the people to go. Even in that way, there's also two other way behind the hill. We also tried entering through that today morning, but there's complete security by the police, and this is the hill that they are protecting. This hill has both the Subramaniam Swami temple, the Kasi Vishwanath temple, the Dargah, and also one of Ganesh temple. 3 temples and 1 Dargah, where 3 temples have proved that it was built centuries ago, whereas the Dargah was built 70 years back, when just before the World War. And also the fight that's going on is not between the Dargah and the temple, but not between the people of the Dargah or the temple, but a political turmoil that's been creating in Tamil Nadu the last 10 days, saying that to not hurt the sentiments of the minority, especially the Muslim minority, the DMK is trying to make sure that the Hindu temples do not follow the traditions that they have been following for many years. And this is where the BJP also protested just 5 days back, where the president of the state, Nainar Nagendran, was also arrested when he wanted to go up the hill on December 4th to light the lamp. And now the problem still continues, where the court has adjourned the case, and also the Supreme Court is yet to decide whether the DMK's appeal that was given to them will be taken into account or not.
All right, Shada, thank you very much for giving us those details. We'll keep a close watch on those developments, viewers. It's also the 9 p.m. debate this evening. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has accused the opposition parties of appeasement politics, criticizing their move to impeach Justice G.R. Swaminathan of the Madras High Court's Madurai bench. This was a statement by the Union Home Minister in Lok Sabha yesterday. Listen in.
कोई जज आजादी के इतने साल में नहीं हुआ है मान्यवर कि कोई जज एक जजमेंट दे तो जज के खिलाफ इंपीचमेंट लेकर आते हैं। अपनी वोट बैंक को एड्रेस करने के लिए इंपीचमेंट लेकर आते हैं मान्यवर। और ये सारे ने तो साइन कर दिया, साथ ही साथ उद्धव जी ने भी साइन कर दिया। उद्धव जी, जजमेंट क्या है? एक पहाड़ी पर मान्यता है कि हाँ सबसे ऊपर दिया जलाया जाए। मान्यवर, एक वोट बैंक को संभालने के लिए एक हाईकोर्ट के जज के सामने इंपीचमेंट लेकर आए हैं। देश की जनता उनको मदद नहीं करे।
All right, viewers, the Tamil Nadu Deepam Rao, top focus on Republic TV. For the moment, we move on to everything else that is making news across the country at this hour. This is Bharat in 2 minutes. A massive fire broke out at the irrigation factory in Jalgaon's MIDC area. Officials confirmed the blaze, which spread rapidly due to plastic materials, has been brought under control with no casualties reported. 3 people died and 13 were injured in a collision between a car and a tractor near Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh. 4 injured patients were admitted in a hospital, are in stable condition now. The victims belong to Madhya Pradesh's Rewa district. Two police officials who were suspended for alleged negligence in the investigation into last year's Pune Porsche car crash have been dismissed from service. Porsche car allegedly driven by a 17-year-old boy in an inebriated condition had fatally run over 2 techies on a motorcycle in Pune last year. A major fire broke out at a 6-story commercial building and the offices of SBI. After continuous efforts of nearly 24 hours, the firefighters, NDRF, SDRF teams assisted by teams from Guwahati refinery doused the flames and brought the situation under control. No casualties have been reported. A fire erupted at a multi-story building in Sadar Bazaar, prompting response from the Delhi Fire Services. The blaze swept through storage units for polythene and plastic bottles. Firefighters dispatched multiple water tenders, eventually controlling the flames. Authorities confirmed that no casualties or injuries have been reported. The cause of the fire is being investigated.
एलओसी खोली और रीजनल पासपोर्ट ऑफिस को पासपोर्ट कैंसिलेशन के लिए कहा। हमारी गोवा पुलिस की पूरी टीम और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की सभी सेंट्रल एजेंसीज़, हमने जब सेंट्रल एजेंसीज़ को रिक्वेस्ट किया, मैंने खुद होके होम मिनिस्टर, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स इनको रिक्वेस्ट करने के बाद उनके हेल्प से उनको आज सुबह सुबह थाईलैंड यहाँ पे डिटेन किया है। मैं सही में यानी विद इन द 4 days इस तरह के जो इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे जो कोई भागता है उनको फास्ट ट्रैक तरीके से उनको डिटेन करने की पहली बार इस तरह से उनको डिटेन किया है। हमारी गोवा की टीम और सेंट्रल एजेंसीज के टीम के द्वारा यानी वहाँ से जो डिटेन किए दोनों जो क्लब ओनर्स हैं उनको वो गोवा में लाएंगे। जो मैंने खुद होके कहा था कि उनको जितना जल्दी हो सके उतना जल्दी हम बिहाइंड द बार्स उनको डालेंगे और इसीलिए उनको बहुत ही जल्दी हम गोवा में लेके आएंगे और इनके खिलाफ जो सख्त कारवाई ओपन केली, त्यांका ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटीस सर्व केली आणि ताज्या उपरांत तांका रिजनल पासपोर्ट ऑफिस हाका तांचो पासपोर्ट कॅन्सलेशनाक धाडलो विथ द गव्हर्मेंट ऑफ इंडिया सेंट्रल एजन्सीज म्हणजे होम डिपार्टमेंट, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स हांच्या सगळ्यांच्या सहकार्यांत आमी तांकां आज सकाळी फुडें डिटेन करपाक शकले। पर्सनली हांव म्हणजे होम मिनिस्ट्री आनी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स आनी सगळ्यो एजन्सीज हांकां धन्यवाद म्हणटा की विदीन 4 दिसाच्या भितर ही केस पुराय क्रॅक करता आसतना तांकां दोगांयको आमी थंय डिटेन केला। थोड्याच दिसाच्या भितर आमची स्पेशल गव्हर्मेंट ऑफ गोवा पुलीस आनी CBI पुलीस थंय वचून तांकां पर्सनली गोंयांत हाडटले। हांवें जे पर्सनली सांगलेले की विदीन शॉर्ट स्पॅन ऑफ अ टायम तांकां बिहायंड द बार आमी उडयतले। म्हाका खरोखरूच बरें दिसता की पुलिसांनी प्रॉम्प्ट रित्या आनी सेंट्रल एजन्सीनी काम करून म्हणजे ह्या लोकांक परत एकदा बिहायंड द बार हाडपा खातीर सगळ्या जाणांनी फास्ट ट्रॅक पद्दतीचेर काम केलें। अजूनय बी म्हणजे अशा पद्दतीचे हे इन्व्हेस्टिगेशन्स ह्या केसीचे पुराय चालू उरतले आणि सगळ्या जाणांक जेका कोणाक जितकी कायद्यानुसार तांकां शिक्षा दिवपाक मेळटा तितकी तांकां शिक्षा दितले हांव खात्रीशीर सांगू शकता। एक मिनिट त्यांचो प्रोसिजर जो आसा आमच्यो गोवा पुलीस सेंट्रल एजन्सीज कडेन उलयत आसा आनी पर्सनली हांगासल्यान धाडल्या उपरांतूच तांकां हे गोंयांत जाता तितके बेगीन हाडटले। मैं सबसे पहले मैं गोवा पुलिस और सेंट्रल एजेंसीज CBI हो या मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स, इनका मैं बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ कि विदिन द 4 days जो एक्चुअली फायर इंसिडेंट गोवा में हुआ, इसको 6 लोगों को हमने अरेस्ट किया। जो एक्चुअल क्लब ओनर थे, जो 3 क्लब ओनर थे, उसमें से एक क्लब ओनर को हमने दिल्ली से उठा के गोवा में लेके आए। दो क्लब ओनर जो उसी दिन सुबह सुबह जो इंडिया छोड़ के थाईलैंड चले गए थे, इनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई करते वक्त हमारे गोवा पुलिस ने उनके LOC खोली, उनको ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस जारी की और रीजनल पासपोर्ट ऑफिस को उनका पासपोर्ट कैंसलेशन करने के लिए भी हमने डाला। विद द हेल्प ऑफ द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ द एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स और द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ द होम हमने उनको आज थाईलैंड में डिटेन किया है। विदिन अ शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ अ टाइम द गोवा पुलिस की टीम और द CBI गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के सहकार्य से उसको थाईलैंड से गोवा लेके आएंगे। मैंने जो कहा था कि इनको विदिन द शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ अ टाइम हम इनको अरेस्ट करके गोवा लेके आएंगे। मैं जिन जिन एजेंसियों का मदद हुई है उन सब का मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ, क्योंकि इन्होंने प्रॉम्प्ट रीत्या इतने बहुत ही विदिन अ शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ अ टाइम उन्होंने प्रॉम्प्ट केस क्रैकडाउन की है। बस इतना ही नहीं, जो 3 ऑफिसर्स को हमने सस्पेंड किया था, जो 2 ऑफिसर्स कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं, इनमें से जो एक ऑफिसर्स कोऑपरेट नहीं कर रहा है, मुझे लगता है कि पुलिस लगा तो उसको कल तक उसको भी हम अरेस्ट करेंगे। इफ़ ही इज़ नॉट कोऑपरेटिंग, उसकी इन्वेस्टिगेशन अच्छी तरह से चलती रहेगी। बाकी एजेंसीज जिनको यानी मजिस्ट्रियल इंक्वायरी इसका रिपोर्ट चल रहा है, उसका रिपोर्ट आते ही उसके ऊपर हम एक्शन लेंगे। मैं फिर एक बार यानी हमारी गोवा पुलिस और द मिनिस्टर ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स, होम अफेयर्स, मैंने खुद होके होम मिनिस्टर्स, इवन दो द PM ने कंसर्न व्यक्त किया था इसके बारे में, यानी पहले ही दिन ऑनरेबल PM हैड कॉल मी और उसके बारे में इंक्वायरी उन्होंने की थी। खुद होम मिनिस्टर ने इस इंसिडेंट के बाद यानी बाकी सब की इंक्वायरी खुद कर रहे थे। मैं सभी का बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ क्योंकि उनको लाने के लिए द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया और हमारे पुलिस ने बहुत ही अच्छा काम किया है। मुझे लगता है कि जितना जल्दी हो सके तो गोवा पुलिस और CBI और बाकी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की एजेंसीज इनको लेके बहुत ही जल्दी गोवा में आएंगे। उनके ऊपर स्ट्रिक्ट कार्रवाई करते वक्त उनको हम बिहाइंड द बार डालेंगे।
कब तक ले आएंगे सर? कब तक लाएंगे?
मुझे लगता है कि जितना जल्दी हो सके उतना जल्दी हम उनको यहाँ से लाएंगे।
गोवा पुलिस की टीम जाएगी सर, थाईलैंड जाएगी?
खुद गोवा पुलिस और CBI की टीम वहाँ से जाएगी। ऑन द सेम केसीस जी केस हांगासर जाल्ली ताज्या बेसिसेर थायलंड पुलिसांक कळयल्या उपरांतूच तांच्यांनी थंयसर तांकां डिटेन केल्ले आसा।
गोंया ह्या पळय ते एक सील मार लावण्याक येता तो ते कितें हे बीन गावला तितून
तांचो जो दुसरो क्लब आशिल्लो ताजेर वायोलेशन आशिल्लें जे वायोलेशन दे हॅव एनक्रोच्ड इन अवर टुरिजम प्रॉपर्टी दे हॅव वायोलेटेड समथिंग CRZ that we have demolished. Henceforth this type of CRZ violation or encroachment in our property will not tolerate.
सर, जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर के बारे में आपने बताया कि उनके ऊपर भी एक्शन हो सकता है, वो सस्पेंडेड है और उन्हें अरेस्ट किया जा सकता है, क्या लग रहा है वो बिल्कुल कोऑपरेट नहीं कर रहे हैं?
3 गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर थे उनमें से 2 ऑफिसर्स जो दोनों लेडी ऑफिसर थी वो कोऑपरेट कर रही हैं। वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए कल दोनों पुलिस स्टेशन में आके चली गई हैं, जो सभी अच्छी तरह से कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं, तो उनके ऊपर इन्वेस्टिगेशन इज गोइंग ऑन। लेकिन द एक ऑफिसर्स ही इज नॉट कोऑपरेटिंग, ही हैज नॉट कम टू द पुलिस स्टेशन, तो इसके ऊपर कार्रवाई होगी। मुझे लगता है कि आज जब मैं मीटिंग रिव्यू ले रहा था तो ही हैज मूड फॉर द एंटीसिपेटरी बिल, पता नहीं लेकिन कल तक हम उसको उठा के अंदर करेंगे।
जो लूथरा ब्रदर्स ने कोर्ट में अपनी बाजू रखी उसमें उन्होंने ये कहा है कि वो विक्टिम है, उनको सरकार गोवा की जानबूझ के टारगेट कर रही है।
उन दोनों को हमें अरेस्ट करना था क्योंकि दे आर द क्लब के ओनर्स हैं, इसलिए यानी जहाँ पे उन्होंने एंटीसिपेटरी बेल लगाई है हमारे सीनियर काउंसिल्स उस केस गोवा सरकार की तरफ से लड़ रहे, तो डेफिनेटली उनको हमारी केस हम उसको डिटेन करने में हम कामयाब हो गए। आगे इस तरह की दुर्घटना न हो इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि एनफोर्समेंट की टीम ऑलरेडी हमने लगाई है। कल से हमारी एनफोर्समेंट टीम इस तरह के हाई फुटफॉल वाले जितने सारे क्लब्स या रेस्टोरेंट है वहाँ पे खुद जा रहे हैं। उस एनफोर्समेंट टीम में सीनियर स्केल ऑफिसर्स हो, द फायर सेफ्टी ऑफिसर, कंस्ट्रक्शन बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन के ऑफिसर्स, इवन दो द फायर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का जो इंजीनियर्स वहाँ जाके विजिट कर रहे हैं, उसका चेकलिस्ट बना रहे हैं। इट इज़ ऑलमोस्ट द चेकलिस्ट एट गिवन, और हमें जहाँ जहाँ पे मेजर वायलेशन मिलते हैं उस मेजर वायलेशन में के क्लब्स हम बंद करेंगे। मैंने पहले ही कहा है उसका रिपोर्ट विद इन अ शॉर्ट स्पैन ऑफ अ टाइम दे विल सबमिट द रिपोर्ट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट and will close down their clubs.
होम डिपार्टमेंट कितना सीरियसली लिया सर, कितना चैलेंजिंग लिया था ये होम डिपार्टमेंट से?
मैंने पहले ही कहा है कि होम डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से 3 इशू यानी इन फ्यूचर इस तरह के इंसिडेंट न हो। वन विच इज एन ऑडिट करने के लिए जो टीम हमने रखी है, दे आर डूइंग द ओवरऑल ऑडिट ऑफ दिस इंसिडेंट, और बाकी सभी जितने सारे रेस्टोरेंट्स क्लब्स हैं उसका ऑडिट करेंगे और दे विल गिव द सजेशन। सेकंड, वी हैड गिवन द एडवाइजरी टू ऑल दिस टाइप ऑफ क्लब्स, एंड थर्ड इज एन एनफोर्समेंट कमेटी जो बिठाई है। तो नॉर्थ और साउथ गोवा के इस तरह के सभी क्लब वो खुद पर्सनली जाके विजिट कर रहे हैं और उसको अकॉर्डिंग टू डेट विल टेक द एक्शन। होम डिपार्टमेंट किसी भी तरह से इस तरह के इंसिडेंट इन फ्यूचर विल नॉट टॉलरेट।
ब्लू कॉर्नर नोटिस में मैनस्लॉटर का एलिगेशन लगाया हुआ, उन पे आरोप लगाया है, किस तरह की कार्रवाई हम गोवा सरकार द्वारा उन पे देखेंगे?
मैं एट प्रेजेंट तो बस आपको इतना ही कहता हूँ, क्योंकि जिस तरह के उनको ब्लू कॉर्नर की नोटिस निकाली है उनको एक बार आके बिहाइंड द बार हम डालेंगे। रेस्ट ऑल द इन्वेस्टिगेशंस और हमारी पुलिस बाकी सभी एक्शन उसके ऊपर लेंगे। हांव परत एकदा सांगता, म्हाका दिसता बरेचशे डॉक्युमेंट हांव पब्लिकांनी पळयता की ज्या पद्दतीत कोणी कितें जे खंयच्या पेपरांचेर कोणी सायन मारल्या पळय न्ही तांचेर ती कारवाई जातली। हांव इतकेंच सांगता, कारण एखाद्या ट्रेड लायसनाचेर बाकीचें सगळें जें जालां ताज्या उपरांत बाकी सगळें जें एक्शन जालां त्या खातीर ज्याचेर ज्यांनी कोणी असल्या पद्दतीच्यो परमिशन दिल्या तांचेर कारवाई जातली। थँक्यू।
All right, that was the new statement that was coming in from Goa Chief Minister, beg your pardon, viewers, Pramod Sawant on the detention of the Luthra brothers earlier this morning in Thailand. He mentions that the Goa government is closely in touch, in contact with the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Ministry of External Affairs in ensuring the smooth deportation of the Luthra brothers back to Goa, where they will be tried. In the case, they will be brought to the club. They will be extensively interrogated about the ownership of the club and their whereabouts on the night of the 7th of December. Swarali is live with us from Panji in Goa. She's been tracking the story very, very closely. Swarali, that was the fresh statement that was coming in from the Goa Chief Minister. He seems very optimistic about the measures that the Goa government has taken in the aftermath of the incident. I want to understand from you, as far as the detention of these brothers is concerned, they were detained earlier this morning. Throughout the course of the day, how far has the initiation process of a deportation reached? How soon can we expect them to be dragged back to India?
Yes, that's true. That might take some time, as the Goa CM Pramod Sawant has informed, but a team from Goa will fly to Phuket in Thailand to get them back deported back to India. Now, all the information has been given by Goa CM Pramod Sawant on the current process and procedure that is going on right now regarding the deportation, and he has thanked the Ministry of External Affairs. On the other hand, he has also thanked Government of India. He has appreciated Goa Police to take quick actions as soon as, if we see the sequence of actions, it was quick, so he has appreciated. And now he has said that as soon as Luthra brothers were the major alleged perpetrators in this Goa fire tragedy, whenever they are brought back, the arrest will be done soon.
Right. Swarali, one of the central focal points of the investigation that came to the fore yesterday was how certain officers were also allegedly involved in, sort of shielding the Luthra brothers, in the sense that they had essentially stopped the authorities, the police, from taking legitimate action on all these nightclubs that were operating without a fire NOC, that were operating without, valid documents. What are the measures that the government is currently looking at to take against these officers?
The magistral inquiry is going on, जिसने लाइसेंस दिया था, और बाकी इसके ऊपर जैसे ही मैजिस्ट्रेट इंक्वायरी का रिपोर्ट आएगा तो फिर जिन्होंने लाइसेंस दिया है इनके ऊपर सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी. He will also booked under the same sections.
फायरवर्क्स चल रहे थे बिना लाइसेंस के, बिना परमिशन
मैंने
के.
वही बताया है कि ईच एंड एवरीथिंग जिसको यानी वही सेक्शन के अंदर हम सबको बुक करेंगे.
कहा जा रहा था कि और ऑफिस
कार्रवाई होगी सर.
मैं बस इतना अभी कहूंगा कि उनको जितना जल्दी ला सके उस क्लब ओनर को गोवा में लेके आएंगे.
All right, that was my colleague Swarali asking questions to the Goa Chief Minister on the action that the government is likely to take on the officers who are allegedly involved in this case, essentially trying to stop the authorities from taking legitimate action on the Burj brothers and the nightclubs that were illegally operating across Goa. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep a very, very close watch on that. Also, the debate with Arnab Goswami at 8 p.m. this evening. And it's time to slip into a very short break, but on the other side, we'll get you the details of that critical statement that has been made by the RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, amid the Deepam Rao that has now taken Tamil Nadu by storm. And amid the winter session of Parliament, an e-cigarette scandal has broken out inside the lower house, that is the Lok Sabha, after BJP has accused a TMC MP of smoking inside the house. We'll get you the details on that after a quick break.
It's an issue which I would call a divergence. I would say there are discussions and negotiations going on.
Yeah. I am Francesco Russo from AGI Newswire. I would like to ask to both ministers, what are the most difficult issues to solve now in order to finalize the trade agreement between the European Union and India?
As I just said, every issue is important and no issue is such that it cannot be resolved to mutual satisfaction. So there are issues under discussion. Negotiations are done behind a closed door and not in a press conference. As we resolve those issues, we'll certainly come back to you with a good announcement of a fair, equitable and balanced trade agreement.
Sir, Anurag Joshi from ET Now. Realistically, by when are you looking to close the trade deal with the European Union?
The European Union is a very valued partner. 27 nations, collectively with a large, over $20 trillion economy. India is the world's fastest growing large economy as a nation. We are $4 trillion slated to become a $30 or $35 trillion economy by 2047. And therefore the delta of opportunity on both sides is quite large. When you are looking at a free trade agreement, you are normally looking at the future. And you are planning for a long, sustained future of 20, 30, 40 years. And you will appreciate that such an important agreement between two large economies, between two economies of a size and scale which will be a defining agreement of the 21st century. Obviously, it takes time. Obviously, we have a lot of things to consider. You need to crystal gaze into the future. You need to ensure that sensitivities on both sides are protected. And you need to grab the low-hanging fruits so that businesses and people of both sides can benefit. So give it some time. Let's not rush into things and never negotiate with a deadline. Negotiation should always be with a sense of urgency, but never in haste. Thank you.
Ashish, we'll come to you.
Sir, in your earlier remarks, this is Saurabh from NDTV. Sir, you've been negotiating multiple agreements, and of course, this is to both of you. And in your earlier remarks, you mentioned, you made a Godfather reference, and and you said, "Give me a deal I cannot refuse." If you could share a little bit about what is that, what makes it a deal you cannot refuse?
The best part, Excellency, is that press goes around in circles to come back to the same question again and again. I think that's a very good attempt to try and get information about what is happening in the deal. But at the cost of repetition, my friend, negotiations happen behind the closed door in the negotiating room, not before the press and television cameras. But if Excellency would like to share what makes a good deal between European Union and India.
But for us, this agreement is very important. Also for Italy, of course, we need to talk. There are problems, but I think it's possible to achieve the goal. I want to be optimistic. Beginning next year.
Okay, that was the briefing by Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal on the progress of the talks on the India-European Union trade deal. The Commerce Minister essentially going on to mention that with India being the fastest growing economy in the world, viewers, a free trade agreement between India and its most critical partner, the European Union, will be a win-win situation for both sides. Delhi court grants interim bail to Umar Khalid in Delhi riots' larger conspiracy case. Luthra brothers, owners of Goa Club, seen handcuffed after detention in Thailand.
In Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result.
RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat speaks on Madurai. Deepam Rao says can be resolved via Hindu strength.
पर सर देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है, क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
Amid winter session of Parliament, e-cigarette scandal breaks out inside the Lok Sabha. BJP MP Anurag Thakur accuses TMC MP of smoking cigarettes, e-cigarettes. Right, viewers, we have some big breaking news coming in. This one from the Rohini Court in the national capital, where the anticipatory bail plea of the Luthra brothers, Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra, have now been dismissed by the Rohini Court. That is the big breaking news at the moment. Remember, earlier today, the Rohini Court had resumed the hearing in which the counsel for the Luthra brothers had essentially made a case that bail and protection is necessary for them so that they can come back to India and join the investigation. But the counsel on behalf of the Goa government in court made a strong case for the fact that it was very easy for this duo, the Luthra brothers duo, to flee the country barely hours after the fire broke out at the Birch nightclub. They tried to evade arrest, they tried to evade responsibility and accountability in the matter, and that is extremely important that the court essentially deny them any anticipatory bail so that they can be deported back to the country and tried in the case. That is the big breaking news that we are getting in at the moment. Luthra brothers essentially now facing arrest in India upon landing in the country. Big setback. Viewers, in fact, early this morning, both of them, they were detained in Thailand by the Royal Thai Police, post which they were, as we speak, they are being kept in a detention center at the immigration premises in Phuket in Thailand. The authorities have essentially suspended the passports of the Luthra brothers, and they also face the risk of a complete revocation of their passport. This is something that the Goa government has appealed to the Ministry of External Affairs. And now we learn that with the deportation process already having been initiated, this is yet another setback for the Luthra duo. The Delhi court now dismissing the anticipatory bail plea of Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra. So no legal recourse for the duo, ladies and gentlemen. They have to be dragged back to the country, and they are set to face trial in Delhi in the Goa nightclub tragedy. All right, on this note, I am also being joined by Deputy Executive Editor Shravan Sen in the studio, who will take us through more details in the case. All right, we'll connect to Shravan in just a bit, but I'm also being joined by Shambhavi, who's joining us with more details about what happened inside court from outside the Rohini court. Shambhavi, over to you. All right, we'll connect to Shambhavi in just a moment, viewers, but that is the big breaking news that is now coming in. The Luthra brothers essentially facing arrest upon their landing in the national capital. Earlier in court today, the counsel had repeated their claims that they had gone to Phuket on business, but the Goa government essentially making a very strong case in court, saying that they were attempting to evade arrest and evading responsibility.
Luthra brothers are now going to be dragged back to India. A confirmation coming in from Goa Chief Minister, who spoke a short while back, stating that Goa Police, along with the Central Bureau of Investigation, will be bringing back Luthra brothers. In fact, Delhi court has rejected the anticipatory bail plea of Luthras, where they essentially were arguing that they were in Thailand for a business trip, and they would be cooperating with the agencies. Let me go across to Shambhavi, who is joining us from outside Rohini Court. Shambhavi, what transpired in the court? On what grounds have the bail been rejected?
See, around 4 major arguments were made, including yesterday and today. One was Luthra brothers escaping for business engagement and not because they wanted to abscond, and that was clearly not entertained by the court because we know that the anticipatory bail plea has been rejected. The other were the medical grounds that both the Luthra brothers, be it Saurabh Luthra suffering from seizures, and Gaurav Luthra has some neuro issue. Again, that was not entertained by the court because the counsel for the state of Goa argued that the medicines for both were prescribed without the presence of the patient, which means that it's not that serious of a health issue. The third one was that both the brothers, they just are license holders and they don't participate in the day-to-day operations of all the properties. So they will, of course, aid in the investigation with the authorities, but they're not to be blamed in this entire matter. And the fourth and the most important one was raised by the Luthra brothers, and that they want to come back to India, they want to participate, they want to help the authorities in investigating the matters and also the families of the deceased, but they are scared that once they come back, they'll be lynched and that the properties will be set ablaze. But again, as we clearly see from the rejection of the anticipatory bail, the transit anticipatory bail of both the Luthra brothers, the court clearly did not entertain any of these reasons or arguments that were made by Luthra brothers. And finally, a lot was dependent on this order by the Rohini court, and now we have the final order, which is rejection of the anticipatory bail. Back to you.
We'll also try and go across to a reporter in Goa, Swarali, because I'm given to understand that this is moving quite fast with Goa police now perhaps taking the call of sending the team as soon as possible. In fact, as we speak, Luthra brothers are still being questioned at the immigration office in Phuket. We've got the latest images coming in a short while back from Phuket, where they're still being questioned. Goa Chief Minister a short while back spoke to media persons where he's essentially indicated that following the high-level meeting that they've essentially had, they believe that custodial interrogation of the Luthra brothers becomes extremely crucial at this point in time. There are allegations that have been leveled against Luthra brothers, particularly about the nightclub that was being run by them. There are violations, there are CRZ violations that have come to the fore. These are allegations that have been leveled against the Luthra brothers, and that is the reason why custodial interrogation becomes extremely crucial. You've also had the legal counsel of Goa government arguing in the court, saying that there is no business intention that they had. This was not a business trip that they had in Thailand, but they essentially wanted to evade the investigation. Let me also bring in my colleague Swarali, who's joining us on this broadcast. Swarali, any confirmation by when are we to expect the Goa police team to leave for Phuket?
The time is yet to be uncertain, but the CM Pramod Sawant has said that in short while team of Goa police will leave for Thailand. On the other hand, we are checking in that in the court bail application. Bail application has been rejected by the court, and we all know that right now they're present in the immigration office of Thailand, wherein they are still interrogated and documents are being checked. But the CM and all the other authorities in the Goa administration have informed us that strict action will be taken as soon as Luthra brothers land in India. On the other hand, the deportation process, which is all the norms are supposed to be followed, is in ongoing. And CM also appreciated the work of Goa police as in to take quick steps and action. As we all know that FIR was registered, post that a lookout notice was released, and when they got to know that Luthra brothers are on a plea at that time, immediately after the intervention of Interpol, a blue corner notice was also released in a major breakthrough update and success for administration and Goa police and the central agencies. Currently, Luthra brothers are in the custody of Royal Thai Police.
Swarali, I'll request you to stay on with us as I'm going to just quickly take our viewers through all the latest details that we have in this particular case. Let's also pull out the latest images that have come in from Phuket, from the immigration center where Luthra brothers are still present. Indian embassy officials are also present there. Questioning is still going on of Luthra brothers. In fact, there were certain reports emerging that there is a possibility that after the provisional arrest request that went in from India, that they would have been deported immediately, but it seems that that has now been delayed. Reports also coming in from the ground that there's a possibility that they could be taken to Bangkok and thereafter from there to India is what we are picking up, and that possibly could actually take place by tomorrow. I'll go back to my colleague Shambhavi, who is joining us on this broadcast. Shambhavi, as far as the investigation goes, Delhi police as well as Goa police maintains that on the day when the searches were carried out, his wife and mother were present at the house, and they've told the police that they did not know about the whereabouts.
Right, just the other day when the Goa police reached the Luthra brothers' residence in Delhi, they were met with the mother and the wife of the Luthra brothers, and when asked about the whereabouts, they said that they are not aware of it, contrary to what the Luthra brothers have maintained in the court till now, that there were some prior engagements led them to Phuket, and when questioned regarding the timing, the convenient timing of them booking the ticket, which is just a couple of hours later when the incident happened, which is around 1:17 a.m. in the morning, they said that they are very frequent travelers and they're trying to establish a restaurant in Phuket, and they even raised this point that they're trying to establish this restaurant in Phuket and they will be employing Indians for that. So is that something that they should be punished for? Now, this was the argument that was raised. And again, when asked about the contact details of the Luthra brothers by their mothers and wives, they maintained that they don't have any information regarding the number, their contact information or where they're staying and other details. So clearly the family was of no help, and which is contrary to the argument which is maintained by the Luthra brothers' end in the court today as well as yesterday.
Shambhavi, I'll request you to stay on with us. If we can just pull out the visuals, that's the latest now coming in also, rather than just staying with what we are doing right now. We'll just quickly take you through a recap of what we know so far in terms of the investigation that has been carried out. Some damning allegations that have been leveled against the Luthra brothers, and this entire argument that was made by the legal counsel of Luthra brothers in the court that this was because of a business trip that they had to go to Thailand seems to have been completely punctured by the defense counsel here. In fact, what we are given to understand is that they have essentially been able to prove the fact that just 2 hours after the fire broke out, it seems that they had already decided to leave the country. Shifting focus now to the other big story that we are getting in from the Parliament, as the winter session of the Parliament is ongoing right now. A major controversy has broken out. Exchanges between the Treasury and the opposition benches, where the BJP has now accused a Trinamool parliamentarian of smoking an e-cigarette inside the Lok Sabha premises. BJP parliamentarian Anurag Thakur raised the issue without naming the Trinamool leader and urged the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla to take note of the violation.
एक सर मैं व्यवस्था को लेकर आपसे सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं। देश भर में
एक मिनट, माननीय सदस्य मुझसे सवाल नहीं पूछ सकते।
नहीं सर, आपसे आग्रह करने वाला,
आग्रह कर सकते हो,
आपसे आग्रह कर
सर भी ढंग से
बिल्कुल सर, हाथ जोड़ के आपसे पूछ सर सदन की जानकारी के लिए है सर, देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है, क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
कोई भी माननीय
टीएमसी के सांसद
एक
पी रहे हैं
मिनट व्यवस्था
सर।
दे रहा हूं।
नहीं सर, आप चेक करवाइए सर।
एक मिनट व्यवस्था दे रहा हूं।
सर सदन में अगर सिगरेट पीना अलाउ कर दिया है।
एक मिनट प्लीज। मैं सभी माननीय सदस्यों से पुनः आग्रह करता हूं, हमें संसदीय परंपराओं और संसदीय नियमों का अनुपालन करना चाहिए। कोई भी माननीय सदस्य कभी भी ऐसा कोई विषय मेरे पास आएगा तो निश्चित रूप से इस पर मैं निश्चित रूप से कार्रवाई करेंगे।
पार्लियामेंट जिसको हम लोकतंत्र का मंदिर मानते हैं, वहां पर ई सिगरेट लाना ये तो कानून के खिलाफ है। आप कानून के रक्षक है तो कानून के भक्षक पार्लियामेंट में कैसे बन सकते हैं? उसको कंज्यूम करना तो पार्लियामेंट के रूल्स के खिलाफ है कि आप पार्लियामेंट की इस प्रकार से तौहीन नहीं कर सकते। पब्लिकली स्मोक करना ये तो कानून है देश का, नहीं कर सकते। पार्लियामेंट में तो कतई नहीं कर सकते, हाउस के अंदर तो कतई नहीं कर सकते। पर इन तीनों चीजों का उल्लंघन टीएमसी के एक सांसद करते हैं, और इसी के बारे में बड़े दुख के साथ, बड़े दर्द के साथ अनुराग ठाकुर जी ने स्पीकर को अवगत कराया, जिस पर संज्ञान लेते हुए स्पीकर ने भी कहा कि यह पूर्ण तरीके से गलत है, इसके ऊपर पूर्ण जांच होगी, इन्वेस्टिगेट होगा। तो आज सवाल टीएमसी से बनता है कि जब प्रथम दृष्टया इतनी बड़ी घटना हुई है तो क्या वो इस प्रकार की नेगेटिव कीर्ति स्थापित करने वाले अपने सांसद पर समय रहते ही स्वतः कार्रवाई करेंगे या स्पीकर के कार्रवाई का इंतजार करेंगे? क्योंकि आप तो कहते हैं आप तो संविधान के बड़े रक्षक हैं, आंबेडकर जी के बड़े प्रशंसक हैं। तो आंबेडकर जी द्वारा संविधान के तहत लोकतंत्र का जो मंदिर है उसकी मर्यादा की बार बार अवहेलना करने का जो इतना बड़ा अपराध कर रहे हैं, ऐसे अपराधियों पर क्या कार्रवाई टीएमसी करेगी?
Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Dola Sen on allegations regarding puffing e-cigarettes in the Lok Sabha said that those who are in charge of monitoring discipline in the House will be looking into it. So there is no denial really coming in from the Trinamool Congress on this entire issue.
हम क्यों कहेंगे? ये देखना जिसका काम है वो देखेंगे।
लेकिन आपकी पार्टी के सांसदों पर आरोप लग रहा है।
हम फिर बोल रहे हैं, देखिए तृणमूल, वो आपको पता होगा 2021 पे अब की बार 200 पार बोल के मोदी बाबू हार गए, तो वो गुस्सा अभी तक नहीं गए। क्या किया जाएगा? पैसा बंद, खाना बंद, नौकरी बंद, सब कुछ बंद, और उसके साथ साथ मंत्री लोगों ने सदन में आके असत्य भाषण भी बोलने लगा। बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट है, बोलने दीजिए। फिर हम बोलते हैं कि कोई भी इनडिसिप्लिन होगा तो उसका संभालने के लिए संसद का एक तरीका है, डिसिप्लिन है। अनुराग ठाकुर कोई गुरु ठाकुर नहीं है, वो बोलेंगे हम मान जाएंगे।
सदन के अंदर आरोप लगाया कि टीएमसी के सांसद जो है
ई सिगरेट वो मैं नहीं जानता हूँ, आई डोंट नो अबाउट इट।
India's humanitarian mission in Sri Lanka after the cyclone Ditwa has entered a decisive phase. The Indian Army's medical team operating under Operation Sagar Bandhu has treated more than 5,000 patients in just the first 48 hours. Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, contingent commander of the Indian Army team deployed in Sri Lanka, underscores the collaborative nature of the mission and the shared commitment of both the nations. Take a look at this detailed report.
The first 48 hours after Cyclone Ditwa caused destruction in Sri Lanka, Indian Army treated more than 5,000 patients. India's relief effort in Sri Lanka following Cyclone Ditwa has moved into a critical stage now. Under Operation Sagar Bandhu, the Indian Army's medical contingent has already provided care to multiple people who were left injured. The Indian Army contingent, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, set up a fully equipped mobile hospital in the flood-ravaged district of Trincomalee.
Where the key facility
facilities that were established by this hospital really depended on the fact that what were the facilities that were already available in this hospital. So the other hospital which has been non-functional, we were basically looking at facilities like the operation theatre, the dental section, the X-ray and the lab facilities. So we have been able to create these facilities. Other than that, we have also been able to create OPDs, which was the hour of the need. So we have been able to create the surgical OPD, the ortho OPD, the dental OPD, as well as family OPD. So we've been able to provide assistance to almost around 5,000, more than 5,000 patients.
The team's priority was to bring immediate, life-saving care to those cut off by the floods, as per Lieutenant Colonel Gill.
When the new age technology that we had employed this time was that we had surveillance drones which were very, very important to find the layouts of the hospital and really helped us to establish it much faster. The other was the HVAC tents which were deployed to create OT in a minimum time. And also, since the layout of the hospital required us that the labs and the facilities for blood collection were far apart, so we could actually use the logistic drones to carry out lab samples and blood samples to the labs, and we could actually enhance our speed and we could get results much faster.
Within 24 hours, the team upgraded a previously non-functional healthcare center. The Indian Army installed an operational theatre, digital X-ray and a fully stocked laboratory in the health center. In addition, they opened OPDs for surgery, dentistry and family health, ensuring a comprehensive package of care. This came as major boost and upgrade to the existing medical infrastructure in Sri Lanka. Cyclone Ditwa made landfall on the eastern coast on 28 November, dumping more than 500 mm of rain in 48 hours. The resulting floods submerged 1.1 million hectares, which is roughly 20% of the island's landmass. 2.3 million people were directly exposed to waterborne hazards. The destruction was immense. 7,20,000 buildings were inundated, including 243 health facilities and hundreds of schools. In addition to the medical push, India dispatched 4 more naval vessels to deliver essential relief supplies. Food, water, medicines and shelter kits were provided. The vessels have also provided logistical support for the evacuation of vulnerable civilians.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मम्मा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, राजा और प्योर मसाला।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
भाई मेरा बेटी को प्यार चाहिए, मेरा बेटी का ब्लड आ रहा, ब्लड नीचे से ब्लड आ रहा, प्यार चाहिए, दे दो। क्यों नहीं कर सकता? क्यों नहीं कर सकता? क्यों नहीं कर सकता? मेरे को प्यार चाहिए अभी।
That we have experienced severe operational disruptions for the past few days. Since then, the crisis continued to aggravate, with today, December 5th, being the most severely impacted day, with the number of cancellations well over 1,000, or more than half of our number of daily flights.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। आर प्योर।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
भाई मेरा बेटी को प्यार चाहिए, मेरा बेटी का ब्लड आ रहा, ब्लड नीचे से ब्लड आ रहा, प्यार चाहिए, दे दो। क्यों नहीं कर सकता, क्यों नहीं कर सकता, क्यों नहीं कर सकता, मेरे को प्यार चाहिए अभी।
That we have experienced severe operational disruptions for the past few days. Since then, the crisis continued to aggravate, with today, December 5th, being the most severely impacted day, with the number of cancellations well over 1,000, or more than half of our number of daily flights.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Awasthi. Let's quickly get you started with the top 6 stories that have set the agenda for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, the Luthra brothers, Saurabh Luthra and Gaurav Luthra, both have them now been tracked and detained and have got no relief from the court. And while we are talking about Luthras, let's also talk about how they were detained. We'll tell you the inside details on when they are likely to be deported. Their passports, ladies and gentlemen, have now been seized. Meanwhile, in Madurai, lighting a deepam or a lamp on a hilltop has become a point of contention and a major political debate. And we'll tell you why is that so. Also, what's making headlines in Parliament today is the big claim by the BJP MP, also Union Minister Anurag Thakur, who has claimed that e-cigarettes are being smoked not outside but inside the floor of the House, inside Lok Sabha, and that too by a TMC MP. Meanwhile, India has been the first responder, as always, when it comes to helping Sri Lanka in disaster response. Fresh pictures shortly on Operation Sagar Bandhu. What's also making headlines in the international forum is how Mexico has now gone the Trump way and imposed 50% tariff on Indian goods. 6 stories that have set the agenda. Let's start first up with the top story. After a dramatic 72-hour international chase, the detained Luthra brothers have been caught in Thailand. Their passports have been seized and they remain in high security holding block. Meanwhile, back here in India, the brothers are seeking anticipatory bail, which had now been dismissed by the Rohini court here in Delhi. They are facing a major setback as the bail plea has now been dismissed by the court. The Goa government has presented licenses, GST records and FSSAI documents arguing the Luthras were actively running the club. More details in this report.
After a dramatic 72 hours transnational chase, the manhunt finally ends. The absconding Luthra brothers, once on the run across the border, now stand cornered and cuffed, their wrists zip-tied. Detained by Thailand's royal police, the killers of those 25 innocent people are escorted with tight security. Behind this steel blue collar door lies a high security detention block. This is where the Luthra brothers are now being held. No exits, no passports. Meanwhile, back home in India, the Luthra brothers have sought an anticipatory bail, claiming they were businessmen and not operators. But the Goa government walked in armed with documents, license papers, GST records, pollution control filings, FSSAI applications, all pointing back to one truth. Luthras didn't just own the club, they ran it. In Luthra's defense, the council claimed that they have visited Phuket for quote-unquote work purposes. They argued that the brothers barely visited Goa, didn't handle daily operations and were portrayed as absconders. But the state questioned Luthra's intent. Goa's council countered sharply that their conduct shows they wanted to evade the probe. Meanwhile, Delhi's council pointed out that since the business was in Goa, why wasn't the anticipatory bail plea filed in Goa but here in Delhi instead? Corruption killed 25 innocent lives in Burj by Romeo Lane Club. The system allowed the Luthra brothers to escape, and now it's the end game for the Luthras starting in Thailand.
And ladies and gentlemen, the chase is finally over. The 72-hour free run has got over for the Luthra brothers after they were detained in Thailand post the international alert. The owners of the Goa Burj by Romeo Lane nightclub are now staring at a swift deportation and a possible arrest the moment they land here in India. What happens next and how soon will they be brought back? Here's the full story.
A massive breakthrough in the Goa club Blaze case. Hours after their 72-hour run abroad ended, the Luthra brothers, Gaurav and Saurabh, were detained in Phuket by Thai authorities. The detention came after Indian agencies triggered a blue corner notice and activated the India-Thailand extradition framework that has been operational since 2015. The duo is currently in immigration custody in Thailand, where documentation and identity verification are underway, the first step before deportation. So, what is next? Once Thai immigration completes paperwork, they will issue what is effectively a deportation order. Unlike a full extradition trial, deportation is usually faster and based on immigration violations or overstaying alerts. Indian officials from Goa Police and CBI's Interpol wing are already coordinating with the Indian Embassy in Bangkok to secure an early travel warrant. If all clearances move without delay, officials say the brothers could be put on a flight to India within the next 48 to 72 hours. The moment they land, they will be arrested. Goa Police have already prepared transit remand paperwork and a detailed case file, including fire department findings and digital evidence of ticket bookings minutes after the blaze. Diplomatic channels expect no resistance from Thailand, given the seriousness of the case and the prior Interpol alert. Once in India, the Luthra brothers will face custodial interrogation, reconstruction of the crime scene, and confrontation with technical evidence already gathered. Investigators allege the brothers fled within 90 minutes of the fire, booking tickets to Phuket at 1:17 a.m. while rescue operations were still underway. Luthra's brothers' defense say they did not flee but traveled to Thailand for business purposes, an argument they also placed before a Delhi court while seeking transit anticipatory bail. Meanwhile, back in Goa, the probe is widening. Police have arrested 6 people so far, including partner Ajay Gupta, who has been brought back for questioning. A lookout circular is also out for British national Surinder Kumar Khosla, the property owner of the club, who is still untraceable. For now, all eyes are on Thailand, where the final deportation order comes through and when the escorted flight back to India is confirmed. A process that began with a blue corner notice is now in its last leg, the handover. And once Luthra brothers return, the investigation enters its most crucial phase yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the state of Tamil Nadu, lighting of a lamp over a hilltop has become a huge issue. Deepam Rao erupted early in December around the sacred hill near Baduraya. It is a site for the revered as one of Lord Muruga's adobes and home to both the Subramaniam Swami temple and a nearby dargah. Now, the controversy stemmed from a Madras High Court order by Justice G.R. Swaminathan on the 1st of December, where he granted a petition by Hindu founder the permission to light the traditional Deepam lamp at the ancient stone pillar atop the hill, reviewing a ritual that is allegedly suppressed for over a century due to the proximity to the dargah there. The dispute spiraled into a national political debate, with the DMK members along with the opposition members pushing an impeachment motion against the same judge who passed the order. This was signed by over 100 opposition MPs, while the RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, today has given a big statement where he urged the resolution through Hindu community's strength, highlighting how deep divisions over religious traditions and state intervention are always on cards. The big statement and the political war over the Deepam Rao on your screens right now.
Amid the Thiruparankundaram Deepam Rao, Madras High Court Judge G.R. Swaminathan received a threat from a Pakistan-based account after his ruling allowing the hilltop Deepam lighting. The threat comes at a time when the judge faces an impeachment motion, with 107 opposition MPs pushing an impeachment motion against him.
DMK continues to state that to not hurt the sentiments of the people who go to Dargah, whereas the BJP continues to state that there is a law that's already passed in 1994 where 15 meters away from the Dargah, people are allowed to light the lamp, and now the DMK's HRNC, the temple administration that comes under the Minister Shekhar Babu, who is a close aide of M.K. Stalin, continues to say that the order passed in 2014 by the Supreme Court should be followed, whereas they are not ready to follow what Judge G.R. Swaminathan said. As we know, Judge G.R. Swaminathan also got a latest threat from on Facebook, on social media, multiple people threatening him, telling that if he allows them to light the lamp on Thiruparankundaram Hill.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has slammed the opposition, accusing them of appeasement politics.
कोई जज आजादी के इतने साल में नहीं हुआ है मान्यवर कि कोई जज एक जजमेंट दे तो जज के खिलाफ इंपीचमेंट लेकर आते हैं। अपनी वोट बैंक को एड्रेस करने के लिए इंपीचमेंट लेकर आते हैं मान्यवर, और ये सारे ने तो साइन कर दिया, साथ ही साथ उद्धव जी ने भी साइन कर दिया। उद्धव जी, जजमेंट क्या है? एक पहाड़ी पर मान्यता है कि हाँ सबसे ऊपर दिया जलाया जाए। मान्यवर, एक वोट बैंक को संभालने के लिए एक हाईकोर्ट के जज के सामने इंपीचमेंट लेकर आए हैं। देश की जनता उनको मदद नहीं करे।
For years, the Thiruparankundaram Hill has been known as a site where faiths coexisted peacefully. But the calm broke when Hindu groups demanded the right to light the Kartikai Deepam lamp at the hilltop. The flashpoint intensified after Justice Swaminathan's order on December 1st to lit the lamp at the Deepathun pillar. When the order wasn't implemented by December 3rd, protests broke out. The bench later passed another order this time, permitting the devotees themselves to light the lamp. But this judicial intervention triggered political pushback, with opposition MPs moving an impeachment motion in the Lok Sabha against Justice Swaminathan. And now, with a Pakistan-based threat targeting the judge, the controversy has taken an alarming turn.
From one controversy to the other, let's now tell you what's happening in the parliament. A fresh political row has broken out in Lok Sabha today after BJP MP Anurag Thakur, also a union minister, accused the Trinamool Congress members of smoking an e-cigarette inside the house. The allegation was triggered by a huge uproar, with both the sides exchanging sharp retorts. Speaker Om Birla, meanwhile, intervened, saying that the matter would be examined if a written complaint is submitted. The issue comes even as electronic cigarettes, remember, ladies and gentlemen, have been banned nationwide since the year 2019. BJP MP Anurag Thakur also raised concerns related to Himachal Pradesh, including disaster management that was overlooked. But what took the center stage, what was his claim on e-cigarettes? Right now on air, ladies and gentlemen, are the same visuals of the TMC MP. His name is Swagata Roy. He, in this video, has been seen smoking a cigarette inside the parliament. The BJP MP Anurag Thakur, like I said, raised the same issue in front of the speaker, to which the speaker said if this has been happening and if there is evidence on it, strict action will be taken. Here is how TMC has responded to the whole row.
A fresh controversy erupted in the Lok Sabha today when BJP MP Anurag Thakur levelled a serious allegation against members of the Trinamool Congress. Thakur claimed that certain TMC MPs were smoking e-cigarettes inside the house over the past few days.
सर, सदन की जानकारी के लिए है सर, देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है। क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर, टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर, टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर,
कोई भी माननीय
टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर, चेक कर, नहीं सर, आप चेक करवाइए सर,
एक मिनट व्यवस्था
सर, सदन में अगर सिगरेट पीना अलाउ कर दिया है,
एक मिनट।
The take immediately triggered protests from the opposition benches. He raised the issue during question hour, reminding the speaker that electronic cigarettes are banned across India under the 2019 legislation passed by the parliament itself. Responding to the remark, Speaker Om Birla asserted that no such permission had been granted for the use of e-cigarettes inside the house.
मैं सभी माननीय सदस्यों से पुनः आग्रह करता हूं, हमें संसदीय परंपराओं और संसदीय नियमों का अनुपालन करना चाहिए। कोई भी माननीय सदस्य कभी भी ऐसा कोई विषय मेरे पास आएगा तो निश्चित रूप से इस पर मैं निश्चित रूप से कार्रवाई करेंगे। माननीय सदस्यगण,
Speaker advised Thakur to submit a written complaint, saying that any documented allegation would be duly examined and acted upon as per the rules of the House.
पब्लिकली स्मोक करना ये तो कानून है देश का, नहीं कर सकते। पार्लियामेंट में तो कतई नहीं कर सकते, हाउस के अंदर तो कतई नहीं कर सकते। पर इन तीनों चीजों का उल्लंघन टीएमसी के एक सांसद करते हैं। तो आज सवाल टीएमसी से बनता है कि जब प्रथम दृष्टया इतनी बड़ी घटना हुई है तो क्या वो इस प्रकार की नेगेटिव कीर्ति स्थापित करने वाले अपने सांसद पर समय रहते ही स्वतः कार्रवाई करेंगे या स्पीकर के कार्रवाई का इंतजार करेंगे?
The statement led to an uproar,
with the BJP members backing Thakur and accusing TMC MPs of openly violating parliamentary discipline. TMC members countered strongly, rejecting the accusation and accusing the BJP of trying to create unnecessary drama inside the house. TMC leader Dola Sen responded sharply, saying that the responsibility for monitoring misconduct lies with the parliamentary authorities, not with Anurag Thakur. She added that her party does not consider Thakur a guru whose instructions they are obliged to follow.
हम क्यों कहेंगे? ये देखना जिसका काम है वो देखेंगे। कोई भी इंडिसिप्लिन होगा तो उसका संभालने के लिए संसद का एक तरीका है, डिसिप्लिन है। अनुराग ठाकुर कोई गुरु ठाकुर नहीं है, वो बोलेंगे हम मान जाएंगे।
सदन के अंदर आरोप लगाए कि टीएमसी के सांसद जो है सिगरेट
वो मैं नहीं जानता हूँ। I don't know about it.
The heated back and forth briefly disrupted the proceedings, with both sides shouting slogans and pressing their arguments. All eyes are now on whether a formal complaint will be filed and what action might follow.
Ladies and gentlemen, India's humanitarian mission in Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa has entered a decisive phase. The Indian Army's medical team operating under Operation Sagar Bandhu has treated more than 5,000 patients in just first 48 hours. Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, contingent commander of the Indian Army team deployed in Sri Lanka, underscores the collaborative nature of the mission and shared commitment of both the nations. Take a look.
The first 48 hours after Cyclone Ditwa caused destruction in Sri Lanka, Indian Army treated more than 5,000 patients. India's relief effort in Sri Lanka following Cyclone Ditwa has moved into a critical stage now. Under Operation Sagar Bandhu, the Indian Army's medical contingent has already provided care to multiple people who were left injured. The Indian Army contingent, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, set up a fully equipped mobile hospital in the flood-ravaged district of Trincomalee.
Well, the key facilities that were established by this hospital really depended on the fact that what were the facilities that were already available in this hospital. So the other hospital which has been non-functional, we were basically looking at facilities like the operation theatre, the dental section, the X-ray and the lab facilities. So we have been able to create these facilities. Other than that, we have also been able to create OPDs, which was the hour of the need. So we have been able to create the surgical OPD, the ortho OPD, the dental OPD, as well as family OPD. So we've been able to provide assistance to almost around 5,000, more than 5,000 patients.
The team's priority was to bring immediate, life-saving care to those cut off by the floods, as per Lieutenant Colonel Gill.
When the new age technology that we had deployed this time was that we had surveillance drones which were very, very important to find the layouts of the hospital and really helped us to establish it much faster. The other was the HVAC tents which were deployed to create OT in a minimum time. And also, since the layout of the hospital required us that the labs and the facilities for blood collection were far apart, so we could actually use the logistic drones to carry out lab samples and blood samples to the labs, and we could actually enhance our speed and we could get results much faster.
Within 24 hours, the team upgraded a previously non-functional healthcare center. The Indian Army installed an operational theatre, digital X-ray and a fully stocked laboratory in the health center. In addition, they opened OPDs for surgery, dentistry and family health, ensuring a comprehensive package of care. This came as major boost and upgrade to the existing medical infrastructure in Sri Lanka. Cyclone Ditwa made landfall on the eastern coast on 28 November, dumping more than 500 mm of rain in 48 hours. The resulting floods submerged 1.1 million hectares, which is roughly 20% of the island's landmass. 2.3 million people were directly exposed to waterborne hazards. The destruction was immense. Seven lakh 20,000 buildings were inundated, including 243 health facilities and hundreds of schools. In addition to the medical push, India dispatched 4 more naval vessels to deliver essential relief supplies. Food, water, medicines, and shelter kits were provided. The vessels have also provided logistical support for the evacuation of vulnerable civilians.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mexico is following Trump's way. And why are we saying this is because they have launched a protectionist shocker by slapping steep new tariffs on Asian imports. India is also on the hit list. Duties up to 50% will now apply to over 1,400 products, marking Mexico's sharp drift from the principal free trade. Here's what it means for India.
Mexico's Senate has cleared a new tariff regime, hiking tariff duties on everything from auto and parts to textiles, plastics and metals. India is among the most affected. Key exports like textiles, auto components and engineering goods will now become costlier in the Mexican market. The move majorly hits India's strategy of using Mexico as a gateway into Northern American supply chains. Analysts link Mexico's shift to US pressure ahead of next year's USMCA, US-Mexico-Canada agreement, mirroring Washington's tough stand on Chinese goods.
India as a temporary or transactional partner. Still, we must view this moment with clear eyes. President Putin's warm visit to India last week and India's participation in China's Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit this September raised some understandable concerns. At the same time, India has agreed to purchase more American energy, thereby reducing significantly its reliance on Russia. In fact, on my way in earlier, I ran into a delegation of parliamentarians from Latvia who through connections with Michigan and the Michigan National Guard and the Latvian military. We're all very acquainted with them.
Inside Mexico, critics warn that tariffs will raise consumer prices. But the ruling party says it will protect local jobs and industries, a protectionist stand. With Chinese cars now facing a massive 50% duty, Mexico signals a wider North American turn towards protectionism, posing fresh challenges for Indian exporters. Mexico's steep new tariffs signal a clear shift towards protectionism, a move that hits Asian exporters hard, especially China and India. As both nations now face higher costs, tighter access, and a tougher road to one of Latin America's biggest markets.
And well, that brings us to the edition of 6 Stories at 6. We will be back same time tomorrow, getting you the more agenda-setting stories. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next after the break is Live and Breaking.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, राजा और प्योर मसाला।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
सर बचा के विक्रम राठौड़, कहीं फिर से ना भूल जाओ आप कौन हो।
रुक, तेरे अग्नि अस्त्र की अभी मोमबत्ती बनाता हूँ।
प्लीज स्टॉप। झुमका तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका।
नॉट देयर, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा।
झुमका तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका। No. मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
अरे क्या हो तुम? रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT का एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, राजा मसाला
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप, जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप, जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
Delhi court dismisses Luthra's anticipatory bail petition. Duo now faces arrest upon landing. Luthra brothers, owners of the Goa club, seen handcuffed after detention in Thailand. Deportation is next. Delhi court grants interim bail to Umar Khalid in the Delhi riots larger conspiracy case.
Of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result.
RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat speaks on Madurai. Deepam Rao says can be resolved by Hindu strength. Amid winter session, e-cigarette scandal breaks out inside Parliament. BJP MP Anurag Thakur accuses TMC MPs of smoking e-cigarette in Lok Sabha. US delegation arrives at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry for the trade talks. All right, we start this edition with some breaking news that's coming in. We learned that the Indigo CEO, Peter Elbis, has now been summoned yet again by the DGCA for tomorrow. A fresh notification has now been issued, which reads, and I quote, "We wish to inform you that Mr. Peter Elbis, CEO of the company of the Indigo, has been asked to appear on December 12, 2025, that is tomorrow, before the Committee of Officers at the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, that is the DGCA, which is examining the matter relating to flight disruption." Second round of summons now issued to the Indigo CEO after Indigo had to go through the worst aviation crisis after multiple flights were disrupted after compensation was not issued. The DGCA today as well held a meeting. The DGCA officer had held a meeting with the Indigo CEO in the national capital today. Now a second round of summons have been issued to the Indigo CEO, asking them answers on what actually happened. In fact, sources also told Republic that in the meeting that was held today between Indigo officials and the DGCA officials, it was noted that Indigo officials had shared their reasoning on why there were actually flight disruptions that were taking place. Sources told us that it was a 2-hour crucial meeting that took place between the DGCA Inquiry Committee and the Indigo CEO. Now, during the high-level meeting that was held today, it was convened to address the Indigo crisis. The Inquiry Committee had posed several direct and pointed questions to the airline CEO regarding, number one, the operations, number two, the refunds, the crew management, and even the compensation that has been given or not given to the passengers. During the meeting, the airline had provided information on its new roster plan, refund process, baggage tracing, and flight resumption. Chandrakala is joining us live on the broadcast. Chandrakala, having issued the second summons to the Indigo CEO, it is somewhere to be noted that the DGC officials are certainly not happy with the reasoning that the Indigo CEO had given today in the meeting that was held. Today was the first summon that was issued.
Of course, the fact that the Indigo CEO has been asked to give a detailed report and data as far as the flight cancellation and flight restoration and all the factors related to this crisis are concerned. But it seems that, of course, this 2-hour meeting that took place today afternoon between the DGC Inquiry Committee and the Indigo CEO was not sufficient enough. Now, of course, after this high-level meeting that happened today, wherein the DGC official has directly posed several direct and pointed out questions to the airline CEO regarding operation refunds and crew management and compensation. It seems that the Indigo CEO was not able to provide the detailed information that the DGCA has sought. Now, another round of summon has been issued. He has been again summoned tomorrow. That's December 12th. At the DGC Inquiry Committee, and there will be another high-level meeting. Now, we know that the fact that the DGCA is now reviewing this crisis and that has unfolded after widespread cancellation and has sought detailed data on Indigo's recent disruptions, the restoration plans and crew management. Also, the fact that now the flights continue to be disrupted, as we know that in the morning several flights remained cancelled in Bengaluru Airport here and also Ahmedabad Airport. Yet, after the Chief Executive Officer of the airlines, Peter Elbers, claimed that its operation were back on track. Now, the DGCA has also ordered an immediate, that's yesterday, of course, we know that important notification has been put out by the DGCA instructing its official for immediate on-site inspection at 11 airports all across the country after the widespread passenger inconvenience caused by large-scale disruption in Indigo's operation. This is the biggest ever aviation crisis, and it seems that, Indigo is now being questioned, held accountable for this. And of course, the government is also responsible for this to sort out, to mitigate this crisis. And the fact that the DGCA has asked for a comprehensive data on the recent widespread flight disruptions and the measures put in place to mitigate the crisis. And the fact that, as far as this inspection in different airports are concerned, detailed data was also, a report has been sought within 24 hours. Now, it remains to be seen after the second summon that will take place tomorrow, what could be the outcome, because it seems that the crisis still remain intact, although there has been some kind of stability. But yes, the crisis still remain intact, and we'll have to wait and watch.
All right, Chandrakala, yes, thank you very much for getting us those details. All eyes are now on the second summoning of the Indigo CEO that is going to be taking place today. He is asked to report tomorrow at the same place. Meanwhile, moving on to some other stories that we are tracking, Republic has got fresh details of the court order on the anticipatory bail application of the Luthra brothers. In a strong observation, the court said that the nature of offence prima facie is grievous and serious in nature. In fact, the court had also said that Luthra stated that there is an immediate threat to their life. However, the applicant, in this case Luthras, have failed to show the basis of any such apprehension. The action can then be taken by the investigating authority or by the court itself and cannot be said to an apprehension of threat to life. In fact, one more very important observation by the court in this case, ladies and gentlemen, is that when the court had said that the nature of offence prima facie is grave and extremely serious in nature. Remember, it was the lawyer of the Luthra brothers who had said and made it clear that it was for a work trip that they had gone to Thailand, and that they're being targeted and deliberately being dragged back into the case when they are not even responsible. But how is it that, ladies and gentlemen, when they are the owners of the club, how can they flee the country when it is their responsibility and they are to be held accountable for the negligence and the lapses that took place inside the Birch nightclub that had claimed the negligence had claimed the life of 25 people. Corruption had claimed the life of 25 people. Ishan is joining us live on the broadcast from the National Capital. Ishan, take us to the key arguments that took place inside the court today.
The Luthra brothers' lawyers argued that they face a serious and grave threat to their lives, wherein they will be lynched if they come back to India. They cited the example of bulldozer action being taken against their properties, wherein multiple properties have been bulldozed in Goa. But the Goa Council clearly stated that the notice for the demolition of these properties were given way back in August, and this is part of a procedure, and this has no bearing on the current case. The Luthra brothers thereafter claimed that they have a serious health issue, wherein Gaurav Luthra suffers from epileptic fits, and this was also, medical documents were also presented in the court, but the court observed and the Goa Council stated that these documents are old documents and the condition of the brothers are not such that they prevent them from appearing in court. Now, the final argument that they presented, that they wanted to join the investigation but fear persecution and intimidation by the authorities, wherein the authorities might force them to confess to crime. This has also been dismissed, wherein this Goa Council clearly stated that the people who have already been arrested have been treated with due process and law, and the due process of law will be followed with the Luthra brothers as well. The action of the Luthra brothers, wherein they moved immediately after the incident to run away from the country, wherein they moved to another country within 1.5 hours of the incident. That they had purchased the tickets, and at around the same time, 5 a.m., they departed from India. All this done only to evade the authorities and evade the way they did it was a very elusive manner, and this is an absconder that is facing. The court also agreed that the facts presented by the Goa Council and the information provided and arguments provided by the Luthra brothers cannot be sustained, and rejected their transit bail application. Now it is being clearly seen that they will be brought back to India and arrested. No interim protection have been granted to them.
All right, Ishan, I was just coming to you on that. Once they're brought back to India, what is the procedure that will be followed by the Goa police, by the CBI and the Interpol in this case?
Right now, a non-bailable warrant has been issued by the Goa police for the Luthra brothers. It will be, once they are arrested by the Interpol, they will be handed over to the Indian authorities. Once the Indian authorities take custody of them, they will be bringing back the brothers to India by an extradition process. Once the extradition process brings them back to India, custody will be sought by Goa police from the airport only, and then they will be taken from here and presented before a court of competent jurisdiction in Goa, wherein they might apply for bail one more time.
All right, Ishan, thank you very much for getting us those details. Moving on quickly, ladies and gentlemen, it is the end of the road for the Luthra brothers. Their 72-hour free run got over after they were detained in Thailand after an international alert. The Goa owners of the Goa's Birch by Romeo Lane nightclub are now staring at a swift deportation and a possible arrest the moment they land here in India. What happens next? How soon could they be brought back? Here's the full detail.
A massive breakthrough in the Goa Club Blaze case. Hours after their 72-hour run abroad ended, the Luthra brothers, Gaurav and Saurabh, were detained in Phuket by Thai authorities. The detention came after Indian agencies triggered a blue corner notice and activated the India-Thailand extradition framework that has been operational since 2015. The duo is currently in immigration custody in Thailand, where documentation and identity verification are underway, the first step before deportation. So, what is next? Once Thai immigration completes paperwork, they will issue what is effectively a deportation order. Unlike a full extradition trial, deportation is usually faster and based on immigration violations or overstaying alerts. Indian officials from Goa Police and CBI's Interpol wing are already coordinating with the Indian Embassy in Bangkok to secure an early travel warrant. If all clearances move without delay, officials say the brothers could be put on a flight to India within the next 48 to 72 hours. The moment they land, they will be arrested. Goa police have already prepared transit remand paperwork and a detailed case file, including fire department findings and digital evidence of ticket bookings minutes after the blaze. Diplomatic channels expect no resistance from Thailand, given the seriousness of the case and the prior Interpol alert. Once in India, the Luthra brothers will face custodial interrogation, reconstruction of the crime scene, and confrontation with technical evidence already gathered. Investigators allege the brothers fled within 90 minutes of the fire, booking tickets to Phuket at 1:17 a.m. while rescue operations were still underway. Luthra's brothers' defense say they did not flee but traveled to Thailand for business purposes, an argument they also placed before a Delhi court while seeking transit anticipatory bail. Meanwhile, back in Goa, the probe is widening. Police have arrested 6 people so far, including partner Ajay Gupta, who has been brought back for questioning. A lookout circular is also out for British national Surinder Kumar Khosla, the property owner of the club, who is still untraceable. For now, all eyes are on Thailand, where the final deportation order comes through and when the escorted flight back to India is confirmed. A process that began with a blue corner notice is now in its last leg, the handover. And once Luthra brothers return, the investigation enters its most crucial phase yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, lighting of a lamp or a deepam in Madurai has become a point of contention. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has expressed confidence that the temple issue in Tamil Nadu can be resolved by Hindus citing the strength of Hindus in the state. He stated that the escalation is not necessary at this point in time, but if needed, Hindu organizations in Tamil Nadu will certainly inform them. Mohan Bhagwat also emphasized that the issue will be resolved favorably for the Hindus and that they will do whatever it takes. The issue revolves around a Madras High Court order allowing the devotees to light a lamp at the stone pillar near a dargah, which the Tamil Nadu government has appealed in the Supreme Court against the order. In fact, they have also moved an impeachment notice against the Madras High Court Judge J.R. Swaminathan, who had approved and given this order. We also have some reactions that we are tracking on it. Mohan Bhagwat has spoken on the case. Let's listen in.
If it needs escalation, it will be done. But I don't think it needs so. The matter is now sub judice. Let it resolve. The awakening of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result. But if at all it is needed, the Hindu organizations are working in Tamil Nadu also. They will let us know, then we will think about it. But at present, I think the issue can be resolved here only on basis of the Hindus' strength in Tamil Nadu only.
Sharda, my colleague, is joining me live from Madurai on that note. Sharda, just when we spoke earlier, you were at the foothill of the temple. Talk to us about where exactly are you right now and what was the controversy all about and how the opposition is reacting to it?
Well, right now we are again at the foot of the hill, but right beside me on the back is the main temple, the Murugan temple, the Tirupurakuram temple. As I'll request my cameraman to pan the camera to the right, where you can see the Om symbol, which is where the Ganesh temple is, where the lamp is generally lit in the past few years. It's been constantly being lit, but that is the place where a moksha lamp would be lit, and it is not a respect made to the god, but to the ones who have passed away, and it is basically a rest in peace sign to make sure that their souls are satisfied, is why the moksha lamp is lit there. As we see even more to the right, on the top of the hill is where the dargah is situated, and below it is where the Kashi Vishwanath temple, where the Shivan temple is. As you can see a small light there, that is where the camping of the police has now taken place. As 144 is imposed in Tirupura Kundram, the